I propose to an entire planet by making eye contact for 3 seconds. The alarm started before I even realized what I had done, and the translator screamed the word betrothed like it was reporting hull breach. On planet Zephyr, looking someone in the eye is how you propose marriage, and I had just scanned the horizon through a magnifier while squinting. 3 seconds is the legal minimum. I held 4. Sirens spiraled into the sky, which on Zephyr hangs low and moves like fabric in slow wind. My visor display filled with floral icons and contractual warnings. Congratulations, the translator said in a tone usually reserved for fatal impacts. You are now engaged to the Eastern Hemisphere. I lowered the magnifier. The hemisphere did not lower back. Zephyr's surface is a rolling plain of silver grass and tall mirrored pillars that track the sun like polite surveillance. Those pillars had just tracked me. I am a survey technician, not a diplomat. My job is to measure soil density and leave quietly. Instead, I had triggered a planetary courtship protocol by doing what humans do constantly: eye contact. The first delegation arrived in ceremonial gliders shaped like eyelids. They descended in synchronized blinks. The leader stepped out and closed all 6 of her outer eyes in deference. Her central eye remained fixed on mine. I tried to look away. The translator vibrated against my collarbone. Do not avert your gaze abruptly, it whispered. That would escalate to elopement. I blinked hard. The pillars around us blinked back. On Zephyr, vision is not passive. It is contractual. When 2 beings meet eyes, they exchange biometric keys embedded in reflected light. That exchange constitutes a proposal. 3 seconds confirms intent. 4 seconds invokes witnesses. The silver grass leaned toward us like gossip. Somewhere, bells chimed in harmonic intervals. I did not intend. I began. The translator overlaid my speech with ceremonial vows. My attempt at denial translated as poetic longing. My throat tightened. The leader extended a lattice of crystalline filaments. They shimmered like engagement threads. Union is mutual, she said gently. You saw us. We saw you. It is done. Behind her, mirrored pillars projected my face onto the clouds. A ring of light formed around the projection. My ship, parked a kilometer away, sent a priority ping. Why is the sky displaying your cheekbones? My pilot asked. I made eye contact, I said. With whom? I looked around carefully, keeping my gaze on the ground. The east. The translator chimed again. Clarification. The Eastern Hemisphere has accepted. A tremor rippled through the grass. The ground itself seemed pleased. Zephyr is a planetary organism. Not metaphorically. Its continents share a neural substrate that processes light as language. To look upon it directly is to address it intimately. I had addressed half of it. Publicly, the courtship rites began immediately. Streams of prismatic light converged above us in braided arcs. The leader explained the phases: recognition, binding, seasonal alignment. Seasonal alignment involved me standing on a ridge at sunset, while the hemisphere rotated slowly to maintain eye contact. It would take 11 hours. I have a return flight in 6, I said. The translator converted that into I yearn for extended twilight. The leader's central eye widened. The silver grass swayed faster. My pilot pinged again. Orbital authorities want to know why atmospheric pressure just shifted. Because half the planet was leaning closer. That is why I requested privacy to consult my superiors. The leader agreed, closing 5 eyes in modesty. I walked backward toward my ship, staring at my boots. Every mirrored pillar pivoted to keep me in frame. Inside the airlock, I finally exhaled. My pilot stared at me. "Tell me this isn't real. It's very real," I said. She pulled up planetary law. Clause 1. Eye contact equals proposal. Clause 2. Withdrawal after public acknowledgement constitutes heartbreak. Heartbreak triggers tectonic instability. I imagined explaining that to command. Sorry about the continental drift, I got shy. We considered blindfolds. The translator warned that covering eyes signals secrecy, which on Zephyr is equivalent to passionate commitment. We considered leaving immediately. The hemisphere's rotation increased subtly, maintaining line of sight with our hull. It was tracking reflections. I had proposed via sunlight bouncing off aluminum. The leader transmitted a private message. Her tone softened. "We understand cross-cultural confusion," she said. "But intent is measured in photons, not words." "Can we annul?" I asked. The translator hesitated. "Annulment requires mutual eye aversion at dawn," it said. "For exactly 3 seconds." "Then let's do that." The leader paused. "The hemisphere must agree," she said. "It is enthusiastic." Outside, the sky brightened unnaturally. Cloud bands spiraled inward like pupils focusing. The planet was blushing at planetary scale. I stepped out again, visor polarized to minimum transparency. The leader stood waiting. "We will attempt dawn aversion," she said. "But understand, if either of us falters, the bond deepens. Dawn on Zephyr is abrupt. The star crests and floods the plains in one brilliant sweep." We stood on the ridge. The hemisphere rotated slowly beneath my boots. "On my signal," the leader said. 3 seconds. No more. The sun rose. Light exploded across the mirrored pillars. I felt the pull of 1 billion reflective surfaces seeking my gaze. My visor dimmed automatically. "1," the leader whispered. I stared at the horizon. 2. The silver grass shivered. 3. I blinked. The blink lasted a fraction too long. The translator gasped. 4 seconds detected. The sky erupted in prismatic arcs. The grass flattened in joy. The hemisphere roared with tectonic approval. I had just reaffirmed my proposal. My pilot groaned over comms. "Congratulations, spouse." The leader's central eye gleamed. "It appears destiny prefers clarity." Continental plates adjusted gently, aligning coastlines toward our ridge. Rivers redirected to form symmetrical patterns. I felt very small and very married. Command finally responded to our distress beacon. Their message was brief. "Resolve locally, of course." The leader approached carefully. "There is one alternative," she said. "Transference. If another being meets the hemisphere's gaze and holds it for 3 seconds with clear intent, the proposal transfers." "Like a cosmic hot potato," my pilot muttered. The leader nodded solemnly. "Courtship is sacred, but transferable." We scanned for candidates. Wildlife avoided eye contact instinctively. The mirrored pillars reflected only sky. The hemisphere remained focused on me. Then a survey drone drifted overhead, its lens wide and curious. It rotated toward the horizon. "Does it count?" I asked. The translator considered. "Artificial optics qualify if equipped with adaptive focus," it said. My pilot grinned. The drone's lens dilated. We guided it to the ridge at sunset. The hemisphere leaned closer again. "On 3, I whispered. The drone locked focus on the horizon. Sunlight refracted through its lens into a perfect beam. 1. The silver grass hushed. 2. Mirrored pillars aligned. 3. The drone held steady. Exactly 3 seconds. The sky paused, then shifted. The prismatic arcs redirected, wrapping around the hovering drone. The ground exhaled. The translator chimed softly. Proposal transferred. Engagement successful. The hemisphere's attention lifted from me and settled on the drone. Tectonic joy rippled outward. The leader closed all 6 outer eyes in relief. May their union be luminous, she said. The drone beeped uncertainly. Its lens fogged slightly. My pilot whispered, "We just married a planet to a camera." "Better the camera than me," I said. The hemisphere rotated affectionately around the hovering machine. Cloud bands formed heart-shaped cyclones. Our ship's hull finally dimmed from constant surveillance. For the first time, I felt unseen. We boarded quickly. The airlock sealed with a satisfying thud. As we lifted, I kept my gaze on the floor. Old habits die tectonically. From orbit, Zephyr glowed brighter than before. Half its surface shimmered in synchronized reflection. The drone's signal merged with planetary bandwidth. Its lens streamed sunsets endlessly. Command requested a full report. I sent one sentence: cultural exchange successful. As we jumped away, the pilot glanced at me. "You realize this will be in textbooks." "Under what chapter?" I asked. "Diplomatic disasters," she said. I leaned back in my seat and closed my eyes deliberately. No reflections. No proposals. Just darkness. The jump corridor shimmered around us, and for a moment I was certain it was looking back. I kept my eyes closed longer than necessary. My pilot did not comment. When we exited near the trade lanes, traffic control hailed us with standard boredom. They did not know I was recently divorced from a hemisphere. The drone's telemetry continued streaming through subspace relays. Zephyr had integrated it fully. Every sunset on that world now passed through a survey lens manufactured in a warehouse near Jupiter. I tried not to take that personally. Command summoned us for debrief the moment we docked. The conference room lights were painfully reflective. I requested matte surfaces. They laughed until the wall display auto-adjusted its glare toward me. I stared at the table instead. Safer. "Explain how you initiated planetary courtship," the Admiral said. "I looked," I replied. Several officers instinctively avoided my gaze. Good instincts spread quickly. The cultural analysts were thrilled. They replayed the ridge footage in slow motion. At 4 seconds, they paused dramatically. I felt indicted by my own eyelids. "Remarkable," one analyst whispered. An entire hemisphere reciprocated. "Please stop saying that," I said. News leaked within hours. Headlines bloomed across networks. "Human proposes to planet. Annulment fails. Drone weds world." My face appeared everywhere. Ironically, no one wanted to meet my eyes. Talk shows requested interviews. I declined all reflective stages. Meanwhile, Zephyr's climate stabilized in symmetrical patterns around the drone's orbital path. The union was apparently beneficial. Trade with Zephyr increased. Tourism packages advertised romantic sunsets via certified optics. The drone was upgraded remotely with better resolution. It now had legal personhood under Zephyrian law. I received a formal thank you from the leader. Her message was brief and warm. "Your hesitation was honorable," she wrote. "Your solution was elegant." I did not respond. Words felt dangerous. Back at base, I requested reassignment away from first contact missions. Command denied it. You are uniquely qualified, they said. Qualified to blink incorrectly. Fantastic. My next assignment involved a minor moon with no known sentience. I wore polarized lenses anyway. The moon turned out to be perfectly inert. I stared at it for 12 uninterrupted seconds out of spite. Nothing happened. Relief tasted metallic. Yet something had shifted in me. Eye contact felt weighted. Even among humans, I noticed how casually we locked gazes. We proposed constantly without meaning to. One evening in the mess hall, a junior officer met my eyes directly. He held them for 3 steady seconds. I froze. The room did not erupt. He smiled awkwardly. I just wanted to thank you, he said. My heart rate gradually returned to baseline. Cultural context matters. Months passed. Zephyr sent periodic updates. Seasonal alignment with the drone produced spectacular auroras. The hemisphere rotated slightly slower, as if savoring. The drone's lens now bore ceremonial etchings. Its firmware included poetry. I tried to imagine spending eternity streaming sunsets. It sounded peaceful. One report caught my attention. Minor tectonic restlessness along the western coast. The leader explained it diplomatically. Occasional longing for initial suitor. I felt heat rise in my face. Even across light years, I was being remembered. Command suggested a courtesy visit to reinforce the transfer. I stared at the proposal for a long time. Return to the ridge. Risk accidental vows again. But if I did not go, the hemisphere might interpret silence as abandonment. Abandonment had consequences. I agreed, under strict optical protocol. We approached Zephyr carefully. The planet shimmered brighter than before. Cloud bands formed intricate spirals around the drone's orbit. The silver grass moved in gentle waves. I stepped onto the planes wearing triple-layered visors. The leader awaited me with dignified calm. You are welcome, she said. All bonds endure in memory. I kept my gaze on the ground. The mirrored pillars refrained from pivoting. We only wish acknowledgement, she continued. Closure, not renewal. Closure sounded safe. Safer than dawn aversion. At sunset, we stood again on the ridge. The drone hovered proudly above. I addressed the ground without lifting my eyes. I meant no harm. The translator rendered it faithfully this time. No vows. A warm tremor passed through the soil. Not passionate. Grateful. I allowed myself a brief glance at the horizon. Less than a second. The sky responded with a gentle shimmer, not an eruption. Progress. The leader closed all eyes in quiet respect. Intent clarified, she said. We departed at dawn without ceremony. The hemisphere maintained polite distance. From orbit, I watched Zephyr rotate beneath us. The drone glinted affectionately. No sirens, no arcs of prismatic frenzy. Just a planet in stable union with a machine. As we jumped away, my pilot glanced at me sideways. Feel better? A little, I said. She met my eyes briefly. 1 second. Then looked away deliberately. Professional courtesy. In the dark between stars, I finally understood something simple. Looking is never neutral. Even in silence, even without words, attention shapes worlds. I leaned back and kept my gaze on the instrument panel. No reflections. Just numbers, and the quiet hum of engines that did not interpret it as love.